If you're a green card holder, you're probably thinking that your status is permanent. But did you know that you can actually lose your status under certain circumstances? And I'm not just talking about staying outside of the United States for too long. Today, I will walk you through the different ways a lawful permanent resident may lose their green card. Stick around because in the end, I'm going to share tips on how not to lose your green card and protect your status in the United States. My name is Alena Shautsova. I'm a New York immigration attorney. I've been practicing immigration law in the United States for 16 years, and I use my social media to share immigration news, tips, and my thoughts. Thank you very much for joining. Do not forget to sign up for my channels, and let's start. The first way one may lose their green card is through the process called rescission. Rescission is when USCIS, immigration agency that issues green cards, is taking it back. It's rarely used and mostly disfavored, but it may happen. In certain states in the United States, the rescission may not happen if you possessed the green card for more than 5 years. But in other states, this is not the case, and actually, the time limit as to when USCIS may take the green card back doesn't apply. Rescission may be used when the green card was not supposed to have been issued to you in the first place. For example, you received a green card based on marriage, but later USCIS learned that the marriage was fraudulent. Or USCIS discovered that you committed a crime that disqualified you from receiving the green card to begin with. If USCIS decides to rescind your green card, you will not have a hearing before an immigration judge. It's critical to respond to a notice about the decision to rescind the green card as soon as possible. If you believe that there may be grounds for USCIS to get your green card back at any point, consult with an immigration attorney immediately. The way number 2 to lose a green card would be through removal or deportation proceedings. This is the most common way the government is utilizing to deprive a green card holder of their status in the United States. In these proceedings, you have a right to see a judge, and you have a right to defend yourself if there are defenses that may be used in your case. Not everybody has defenses. It's very important to understand that. Common reasons for removal or deportation proceedings would be, again, criminal convictions, abandonment of residence, fraud or misrepresentation. Recently, however, something else came to light, something that is worth discussing. You probably heard about Mahmud Khalil and what happened to him. Mahmud is a green card holder who was very active during pro-Gaza protests at Columbia University. So when President Trump took office, his administration took a very different view as to protesters and protesters' activities in the United States in relation to Gaza-Israeli conflict. Specifically, the Trump administration decided that actions of Mahmoud Khalil and students like him are believed to have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States. And hence, the Trump administration is using this particular reason to try to get the green card from Mahmoud Khalil and people like him. As you see, the issue of one losing their green card status is very complicated because it depends on when the government found out that the person should not have status and what is the reason that the government is using to get the person's status away from them, as well as the procedure that the government is employing trying to get the person's status away from them. It means, of course, that by themselves, without help of an attorney, it's almost impossible for a green card holder to hold on to their status once the entire government of the United States is trying to revoke their status. Keep that in mind, please, and always work with a skilled attorney. In the case of Mahmud Khalil, he enjoys representation of numerous very bright attorneys, and his case is currently pending. We're going to see if his lawyers will be successful in proving the fact that Mahmoud was merely exercising his constitutional rights rather than displaying any actions or beliefs that would have potentially serious consequences for the United States foreign policy. This will be questions that must be resolved by a federal judge in Mahmoud's case. What's going to happen in your case depends on your particular circumstances. But let's move on to the next ground when somebody may lose their green card. One may also lose their green card if they voluntarily sign off their rights away by signing on Form I-407. This is the form that confirms that you as a green card holder voluntarily abandon your lawful permanent resident status. It usually happens in two ways. Way number one, you're a green card holder who's been absent out of the United States for a prolonged period of time, and now you're trying to enter the United States and you get confronted by the CBP agents at the border, and they offer you to sign this form. Some people do sign it and they do get deported or rather turned back, and they will not be able to use their green card to enter the United States, and they're no longer green card holders. Other people do not sign that form, and what happens next usually is that they are allowed to enter the United States and then placed in removal proceedings. And then, as explained previously, they will have a chance before an immigration judge to defend their status. But sometimes you choose to submit this form at a U.S. consulate overseas. For example, you used to have permanent residency. You didn't use it for a long time, right? You stayed out of the United States for a long time. Now you simply would like to travel and visit the United States for a short period of time. But the consul found out that you had this permanent residency, or you disclosed this information, of course, and now they're not really sure what to do with you because they cannot make a determination, only the judge can, that your permanent residency was terminated, yet they do not want to issue a visa to you. So at that time, you may want to submit that form I-407 to relinquish all your rights to that permanent residency that you once held and simply enter the United States on a visitor's visa for a short period of time. Be careful. Once you submit Form 407, you cannot just change your mind. It's very important to know that. You will have to apply for a new immigrant visa if you would like to become a green card holder again. And now let's talk about how you can protect your green card. Well, obviously, you would like to try to stay away from criminal charges. If life has it that you are charged with a crime, make sure to work with a criminal defense attorney as soon as possible and with an immigration attorney as soon as possible. Do not enter the guilty plea, do not take the guilty plea unless you understand its consequences. It's very, very important. Sometimes if you are convicted of a crime, there are no immigration consequences. Very rarely, though, most arrests and convictions will lead to you being deportable. So that's number one. Number two, do not stay out of the United States for far too long without the re-entry permit. Re-entry permit saves you from being deported at the border, being threatened with deportation at the border, and you losing your status because you spent too much time out of the United States. Very easy to file for it, Form I-131. And of course, consult with an immigration attorney. If you believe that there are reasons as to why the government may rescind your green card or may place you in removal proceedings, previous criminal convictions, issues when you were receiving your green card. If you believe the green card was issued in error, you know that you were supposed to file for the waiver, but the waiver was not requested and you never filed for it, yet your green card was approved. Or let's say you entered on K1 visa and somehow adjusted status through marriage to a different person, not your petitioner. You know that there will be issues during the N400 process, usually because of the USCIS mistakes. Or perhaps there's something else going on in your case. It's always better to be preventive than reactive. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. If so, please like and share it. Don't forget to join my social media family, and I hope to see you soon.